What if I told you there's an ancient system that works like a kind of clockwork, not for telling time, but for mapping out the entire rhythm of a human life? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into, a predictive blueprint for destiny. I mean, it's a question we all ask ourselves, right? Is there some kind of pattern to all the ups and downs? Can you actually see the good times coming and maybe brace for the bad? This is the fundamental challenge this ancient system was built to tackle. And that system is Vedic Astrology, or as is traditionally known, Jyotish. You can think of its goal as mapping out life's predictable seasons, charting the big, energetic shifts that we're all likely to go through over a lifetime. At its heart, the whole system breaks a person's life down into this master timeline. It's like your life is a book, divided into different chapters or periods. And each one of those chapters is governed by a specific planet that takes its turn influencing your story. Okay, so this brings us to the most important term you're going to hear today, the dasha. A dasha is a major planetary period. Think of it as a huge chapter in your life, right? It can last for years and years, and during that whole time, one single planet is setting the main theme, the whole vibe for that entire era. Let's use an analogy. Imagine your life as a giant clock. The dasa, well, that's the hour hand. It moves incredibly slowly. It might point to the number 4, let's say, for 16 years straight. And for that whole time, the planet that owns the number 4 is basically in charge. But, life isn't just one single theme for a decade or more, is it? Things change month to month, year to year. So how does the system handle all the finer details? Well, it gets way more granular. So inside each of those huge dasha periods, you have these shorter sub-periods, and they're called dashas. So even while you're in, say, the major chapter of Jupiter, you're also going through a series of mini chapters, each one run by a different planet that adds its own specific flavor to the mix.
So let's go back to our clock. If the dasa is the slow, giant hour hand, the antardasa is the minute hand. It's moving faster, and it's pointing to what's happening right now within that bigger, years-long theme. This is how the system accounts for the more immediate highs and lows that we all feel.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about timing, it's about the quality of that time. A period ruled by a planet like Venus isn't automatically going to be great for everyone. It all comes down to how that planet was positioned in your unique birth chart, right at the moment you were born.
For example, when you read the old texts, the descriptions for a well-placed planet are almost epic. You see phrases like beneficence from the king or recovery of a lost kingdom. I mean, it's pretty clear they're talking about a profoundly good time in your life.
And here, the contrast is just, wow, it's night and day. A well-placed planet is tied to things like gaining land, getting favor from powerful people, and just general well-being. But that exact same planet, if it's in a tough spot in someone else's chart, is linked to things like heart disease, getting ripped off, and fighting with people for no reason. And just listen to this. Remember that beneficence from the king we just talked about? While for a poorly placed planet, that completely flips into danger from the king. It is a total reversal of fortune, according to these texts.
And this is probably the most important point of the whole system. It's not just saying, oh, a Mars period is going to be aggressive, it's saying the quality of that Mars period. Whether that energy leads you to victory or to ruin is all based on its position in your birth chart. Context is literally everything.
So does that mean the whole path is just set in stone, or are we just along for the ride? Well, not exactly. The system actually has its own wild cards, and even a few antidotes that can change the game. First up, you've got these things called yogas. A yoga is basically a special, powerful combination of planets in your chart. Seriously, think of it like drawing a wild card in a game of Uno. If you have a powerful yoga, it can create these really potent, specific effects that can just override the general predictions of whatever dasa you're in. Here's a classic example, Gaijaka Sari Yoga. It's a specific alignment between Jupiter and the moon. And the texts say that a person with this combo in their chart is just naturally splendorous, wealthy, and intelligent. Now, you can imagine how having that up your sleeve could really change how you experience an otherwise tough period. And this is crucial. The system isn't just about diagnosis, it's also about prescription. For those difficult planetary periods, the texts lay out these specific remedial measures that are meant to help counteract the negative stuff that's predicted. And look how specific these are. We're not talking about vague advice. The texts list very particular actions.
Things like specific chants or acts of charity, like donating a black cow or a goat. Each one of these remedies is tied directly to a particular planet's difficult influence.
So, after all that, what's the ultimate goal of this super intricate cosmic clock? Is it just to prove that our lives are all predetermined? Well, the philosophy behind it seems to be pointing to something a little more nuanced. So let's just recap the logic real quick. Step 1. Your life is a series of big planetary chapters. Step 2. Each of those chapters has smaller sub-chapters inside. Step 3. How strong that planet is in your birth chart decides if those times are going to be a breeze or a struggle. And Step 4. Wildcards and remedies can change the final score.
So in the end, the dashas system isn't really presented as this rigid, unchangeable script that you're forced to act out. It's much more like a weather forecast, or maybe a map of the terrain up ahead. It's designed to show you the potential seasons of your life, when it might be a good time to plant seeds, when to harvest, and, yeah, when to find some shelter. And that leaves us with the big final question, doesn't it? Does a system like this mean that our life is some kind of pre-written story? Or does knowing the map, understanding the potential weather ahead, actually give us more power to navigate the journey and choose our path more wisely?